Everything's in the 80s and it's really old and uncomfortable. Like everyone's in these houses with these terrible decorations, and it just feels really warm, and you can smell the atmosphere through the TV because you just know that like there's like that weird Christmas potpourri and thermostat set to 90 degrees, and everyone's uncomfortable when they're in this movie and when they're watching the movie, like me.
I feel like it starts at Thanksgiving. I have no evidence for this. Let's say it starts at Thanksgiving.
So I know for a fact that I've seen the beginning a ton of times because it's on so much. The movie starts with a bunch of kids staring in like the window of a toy shop, and they're just looking at the toys.
Starts out, Ralphie and his buds are looking through a department store window, and he sees the Red Ryder BB gun, and he's like, yeah, I want it. And then, honestly, I have no idea what happened.
Ralphie really, really wants a BB gun for Christmas, and his parents don't want him to get the BB gun because they're afraid he will shoot his eye out.
No, shoot your eye out.
Oh no, it was the classic mother BB gun block. You'll shoot your eye out.
There's a Red Ryder BB gun that we would like to get for Christmas, which doesn't seem great. And there's a whole thing about they're like, you'll shoot your eye out. And I will tell you, as a child, I think this is where I developed a fear of things poking my eye out because, spoiler alert, a thing does happen to this child's eye later in the film. And you're like, oh, this was literally Chekhov's gun. Like, they used it in the third act.
At one point, I know that he thinks that if he can convince his teacher through like an essay that he wants a BB gun, that the teacher will somehow convince his parents that he wants a BB gun, and the teacher says you'll shoot your eye out and like gives him not a good grade on the essay, and that's really disappointing for him.
Okay, so then at one point they're getting ready for school, and the mom is putting all of the layers on Randy, which I don't understand why she doesn't put them on Ralphie too. Like, he's only like a couple years older. Why does Randy have to wear so many clothes? But it doesn't matter. He can't put his arms down. And then they start going to school, and then somebody shoves Randy, and he's like, hey, kid. And then he's down. He says, I can't get up. And it's the best.
What is it?
I can't put my arms out.
And then, is that when they meet Scut Farkas? Also Scut, not Scott, which is important to know. And he has yellow teeth. Or is it yellow eyes? I don't remember.
Scut Farkas staring out at us with his yellow eyes. He had yellow eyes, so help me God, yellow eyes.
There's this ragtag group of bullies in this neighborhood. One of these kids has like yellow teeth. It is like kind of horrifying. And there's one that's like really small that like is just very intense, and I don't like him very much. They chase the neighborhood kids around, our protagonists. I think at one point the little brother gets left behind again. I don't know.
But then they go to school, and then then they're arguing over who can if you stick your tongue to a light post, if it's gonna stick. And then
the other part that was really funny about that was when he got his tongue stuck to the flagpole, which was really fun.
Later, there are shenanigans in which a child's tongue is stuck to a flagpole. Another childhood fear of mine come to life. And they just leave that kid outside. They just abandon him.
His tongue gets stuck because it's so cold, and then they leave him. They just leave him out there when they go in from recess, and the teacher finds him. And then probably the most upsetting scene in the movie, the fire department comes and rips his tongue off the pole.
And then the teacher's like, who put Flick up for this? And then everybody's like, oh, it wasn't me. And then Ralphie's like, yeah, I got away with it.
Which I think is most upsetting to me, not just because it sounds painful, but also because it's very easy to remove someone's tongue from a pole like that. You just have to pour warm water over it. And the fire department would have known that, but that doesn't make for a good movie.
And then later on in the movie, the boys are eating dinner with their parents, and the mother says to the brother, show me how you eat like a pig. And he starts eating like a pig really, really fast, and he makes like a really, really funny, silly sound like he's a pig. I thought that was really funny.
Now, show me how the piggies eat. This is your trough. Show me how the piggies eat. Be a good boy. Show mommy how the piggies eat.
There's a whole thing about how the plug has too many plugs in it.
He got his decoder pin and it said drink more Ovaltine, and he was like mad about that.
I just know we spend a lot of this movie in the bathroom. We spend time in the bathroom decoding things. Later, I think that someone gets their mouth washed out with soap. Oh!
I remember there was the dad gets a box and it has a leg in it and it's wrapped in it's like a big wooden box, which I don't think they usually ship stuff in.
At one point, the dad wins a contest and he gets a lamp, and there's a whole thing. It comes with this huge box, and the lamp is like a leg with like fishnet tights on, and he thinks it's great. The mom hates it.
Smoke with you. Do you know what this is? This is a lamp.
The big major award comes, and we have to figure out what it is, and it could be a bowling alley. Well, a bowling alley can't fit in there, but it could be the deed. And then they rip it open, and then what is it for? The lamp. And then clearly the old man's excited, the mom is not, and then there's the battle over it for a while. Things happen a couple days later. Ooh, suddenly it falls, and she doesn't know what happened. She was just watering the plants, and he's so mad. And then he's like, I'm getting glue, not a finger. And then he storms out.
You used up all the glue on purpose.
The old man stood quivering with fury, stammering as he tried to come up with a real crusher. All they got out was,
Not a finger!
The dad is a character. He's got a lot of anger, and he hates the dogs next door, and at one point they eat the turkey and they have to go to a restaurant for Christmas dinner.
Then the Bumpuses! The Bumpuses have been in this movie the whole time. At least their dogs have. The Bumpuses dogs are wild. And they run into the house and they steal the turkey or something, and then they end up going to get Chinese food for dinner on Christmas, which is a real thing that my family does every year, maybe because of this movie.
And then they have to go get Chinese food, but that's funny and delicious. And did you know that they did not tell the mother that they were going to leave the face on the duck or goose, whatever they served them? And then they served it to her, and her reaction is total legit reaction, and it's so funny.
Okay? Beautiful. Yeah.
And they go down a slide at some point, and they're in a mall. I think they're in a mall. They go down a slide.
And then the other part that I really like in the movie is when they're going to see Santa Claus and they wait all day in the department store, and it's a crazy department store, and they're just about getting ready to see Santa Claus, and they get up there, and Ralphie really wants to tell Santa Claus that he really wants this BB gun for Christmas, and he's so excited, and Santa doesn't really seem like he cares too much about it, and then he pushes Ralphie and his brother down this crazy slide.
I was haunted by the memory of the Santa shoving this little boy down the slide with the toe of his boot, and I have been afraid of Santas in stores for my natural born life because of this.
Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
And the boys are just screaming and crying at the end of the visit with Santa, which is pretty much how all the visits my children had with Santa went. So I totally agree.
So then it's Christmas Day.
Christmas happens, and Randy's so excited, and he gets a Zeppelin, and he goes, whoopee, a Zeppelin.
His brother gets his toy, and he's like, oh, cool, a dirigible. And he has like a little blimp. Adorable.
Then Ralphie gets the funny bunny suit, of course.
And also there's like a whole thing about how his aunt got him a bunny suit and he has to put it on. But I don't remember why he has to put it on, because I don't think his aunt is there, but he does have to put the bunny suit on.
Outfit, which I think would be the most comfortable item of clothing ever. And that kid wore that later. Like, he was like, oh, it's cold. I think I'll actually just like choose to wear this now. I would wear it.
That is the most precious thing I've ever seen in my life.
He looks like a deranged Easter bunny.
He does not.
He does too. He looks like a pink nightmare.
He gets his Red Ryder, and that's crazy. And the old man gets a bowling ball, and that's funny.
The dad gets a bowling ball and the mom drops it in his lap and he's like, oh, and that's great.
And then at the end, I think he gets the BB gun, and I don't think he shoots his eye out.
Oh my God, I shot my eye out!
He does eventually get the BB gun and he shoots his eye out. Not really, but he shoots the BB gun and I think the BB pellet hits him in the eye.
I know that he goes outside and he shoots it, and I don't know if he shoots something and it bounces back and hits him in the eye. Also not great to be shooting a BB gun in your backyard when you live in a residential neighborhood. I don't love that for him.
And he lies to his mom and tells her that that it was an icicle that fell from the house that did it.
And then they sit and cuddle, and the snow falls, and the tree's really pretty, and that's a great movie. And then it pretty much ends, and he's like, does he sleep with this gun? I think he's sleeping with this gun, which is kind of weird, but whatever. Randy definitely sleeps with the Zeppelin.
And he has a sister. There's a boy who has a sister and parents and relatives, and that's all I remember.
5 stars for nostalgia. I think 3 stars for general plot. 1 star for eye safety.